Okay, so in this video, I want to talk about the third pillar of the soul purpose ascension. So I have five pillars of what allows people to feel living aligned with the soul purpose, and this is the third one. Now, the third one is embracing the stories that you have lived, and this is a good one. And I love talking about this. One, because many people don't have this awareness in the past, present pain that they have lived, it becomes an obstacle for most people. But when we understand the nature of the soul and what the soul is here to do, every single consequence, circumstance that you have gone through, you actually are meant to go through to realize what is it that you're here to do. So we call this contrast what appears to be negative in this physical realm, where you might have had maybe physical pain, emotional pain, or some sort of what we people categorize and label as traumatic event. Yeah. In psychology, emotion that shapes our identity, the limitation that we feel about ourselves, the sense of self in the world is huge. That is sort of like a foundation for how most people are living, the quality of the life or the absence of quality of the life based on the worthiness, because how we feel about ourselves, the sense of self in this world, dictates what we attract when we understand the universal law of vibration and attraction, cause and effect. So it's really important to understand what we have gone through in the past and to be able to embrace that. Let me give you an example because I'm a good example for that. Like I had many injuries in the past, right? I injure my forehead, the back of the head, my hands, my knees, my back. I have a bulging disc. I have impingement in my shoulder, right? I don't have any severe pain or injury, but all over my body, I was injured at some point. That led me to study neuromuscular therapy, led me to study conscious movement, and I have helped people through that, right? Now, I myself, when I was in my Peru, when I was growing up in South America, I wasn't a confident child, right? I suffered from asthma and I didn't feel good about myself until I discovered dance at the age of 17. And I had sort of like this, sort of like a psychological stuff conflict in my school, and I didn't feel good about myself, right? So all those stuff contributed for me to be curious about the mind, be curious about the spiritual aspect of it. And I don't think I am doing what I'm doing without that experience. So many people tends to sort of victimize their life and think why that happened to me because that was a painful experience. But then now that we are not in that place and we can look back, it's really important to begin seeing that as a path that prepare you to become who you can show up as today. And that shift in perception and the decision and the determination that you make with yourself is going to open and expand, create a path for you. So that's what I mean by embracing the stories that you have lived. Now, stories includes the path that you have taken and also the stories, the mental construct, because we have a limited way of looking at the world, and that has created the experience that we have lived. So all of the above, all of that experience is relevant information and data and experience for us to arrive where we are at. And then the question that we want to ask is, okay, what is this doing for me that I can help others, right? Because we're connected, right? And the giving and receiving is the fundamental law of how we operate. And the idea that we have received all the stories of the one and the pain in our day-to-day activity must mean something for us to be able to give back to the world. And let's say if you had some negative experience in the past, okay, there's good in everything, right? There's no only negative thing in this relative realm because there's always opposite polarity of it, right? And then when that negative thing happen, you might not have been able to see the good in that, but after the fact when we look back, there is an understanding about that, that you can empathize and think and care for others, care about others, right? So there's always good in something. So it's really important to begin going back to your story and history that you have lived and then begin reconciling the meaning of it. Because until you do that, that situation or experience might be impacting you negatively because you have perceived that situation based on the perception that you were in back then. And that might be actually hindering your ability to express and experience your life the way that you're supposed to be experiencing. So going back to all those negative consequences, and I say negative milestones because they are milestones, and then write all those things down on a piece of paper as, let's say, 10, 20, 30 items, and then begin putting arrows on each and say, what does this mean for me now? That's the question I want to ask. What does this consequence mean for me now? Because by asking that question, you can turn that pain and a wound into a wisdom and a gift that you can give to others. Yeah. So by making that shift in perception and the meaning is the third pillar. Yeah. So nothing, no part of the life that you have lived is wasted at all. You're embracing the story that you have lived so you can move forward and open and expand into creating the future in the now. So if you want to go dive deeper into these five pillars of Soul Purpose Ascension, I want to invite you to the Soul Purpose Ascension workshop 5 day that I did. It's been recorded and it's in the Soul Purpose School group that I have. I'm going to post a link below that you can register and it will invite you to the school group, Soul Purpose group. And understanding and embodying this piece is a key because it's a piece that holds a lot of people back, right? The sense of self, the worthiness is a fundamental seed that is restricting a lot of people from expressing fully. So I hope to see you in the inside and everything is going to be expansive and good only if you embrace the story. So see you on the other side.